Alright, so as you talk to me now, it is July 1st, around 2 o'clock Suriname time, and I am in Suriname. I'm in Tropical Keys Hotel. I have a room to myself, and just going to go over the 10K that's going to happen apparently tomorrow in the evening, and just what's been going on since the where I left you off right before 5,000 meters. So for that 5,000 meters, it was mostly good, I think, in terms of the logistics of getting there and marshalling and all of that. So that was mostly smooth. Didn't have any challenges there. Warm-up and all of that was fine. So the next thing was just on to the race. So just straight into it, I came second with a time of 16:20. So I think that's my second fastest time. It's not my personal best, but it's decent for I think where I was. In terms of the tactics of the race, it went mostly as I planned. The start was slower pace and I took it up and tried to push it in the middle again. Just starting the last 5 laps or so, the pace fell off a bit, and then in the last 3 laps I dropped off the pace pretty much fully. So I actually was able to get a video of the 5,000. They got it on YouTube before it was taken down, I assume. So I'm just going to go over that in terms of my opinions on it. Just my commentary over the race and how I was feeling and what my thoughts throughout the process. Alright, so here in Suriname, I'm going to do the 10K a little bit tomorrow. Or before that, just want to go over the results for the 5,000 meter national championships. So after recording of it, I managed to find it online. I think before I took it down, so that's good at least. So I can go over at least how I was feeling throughout the entire race. I'm going to play it back a bit faster than it would be, just so you get through it quicker, but just give my thoughts over on how the race went.
To implement to the distance where you wanted to.
Alright, so the only track final amongst the seniors, 5,000 meters, is now on the way. Likes of Winston Dehaney, Noel Ellis, Daniel Wallace, Dwayne Graham.
So it went as planned for the first 2.5 laps actually. The pace wasn't all that quick. I was just trying to keep up with it. It wasn't that hard. I wasn't trying to make sure I didn't go too far out. Actually, Mr. Graham on the outside in the back, he was actually apparently doing the same thing, or at least waiting for somebody to take up the pace, because he was on the outside at a much slower pace as well. So you can see in about another lap or so, he'll move up. So the guy from Stets, he started to move a little on the second lap, but he didn't maintain that for very long actually, as you'll see. I think he's around 16 though, so he has a lot more to go in terms of getting used to the 5,000, all of those things. So mentioning that Jamaica isn't all that good in the 5,000, and that's very true, you know. Not their national record is enough to qualify for the Olympics or the World Champs, so something that happens. I'm not sure I'll be able to reverse all that, but still plan to work on it. Alright, and at this point I decided I can start moving, so yeah, for the watching, that's 3:20 for the first lap, so a bit faster than I would have hoped, but it didn't feel all that tired right there, so I tried to step. Right there, and going to the 1:15 I was trying. I didn't know if anyone would be able to stick to me, if anyone knew be that Dwayne Graham as well. Same guy I noticed from before, who had a time around 16:03, so you'll see what happens there. So you see that's where I'm at. Around about 1:12 for that lap, so a bit faster than I hoped, but it's not terrible. I was able to hold that some more and see who was able to go with me. So it's just Mr. Graham there, and the Sets guy eventually dropped off. So he started to take more distance between it now, and that was around 1:17 or so. So around that same range of where I wanted to be at. They say it's me angry and mainly. I don't think I was able to separate him for the entire race, actually. But the rest of the pack dropped off.
And it's very important that you
At this point, I was trying to, get it up the pace a bit higher to try to those 800 in 220. So I tried to step up the pace. I'm not sure I was able to do it, and I actually went off the track. I don't think that is allowed in official competition, maybe for the smaller ones like you have here. And he didn't really gain any distance, so that's probably why. But it is what it is. I don't think it made a difference in terms of the result.
It depends on how the referee will.
At this point, started to notice that he wasn't really dropping off the pace as I had hoped. And actually, something I felt when he was running is that he's always moving the pace around. So you will see him take steps, and I have to try and match that. So something that he does a lot, in that just switches the pace, for about 100 meters you just go fast and then slow back down to a decent pace. So something I would normally run is just have consistent pace, like I said before. I try to put the time in just to keep that pace better, but it didn't always work out. At this point I had 5 laps left. I think that at this point I didn't really think I could keep the pace with him, so I tried to drop back to that 115. I think I was actually missing the pace a bit here, but what's more pressing is that I wasn't feeling confident to try to stay ahead of him, so I was actually planning to stay behind him as close as I could. But something you'll see here is that because of how he's built as well, he's a lot stronger than I am in terms of just straight power to just take short bursts up. So you'll see soon that he takes a step away from me and I wasn't able to get back to him. At this point I was started to feel it a bit, trying to keep pace with him, and I think he sensed that and made a step to go forward. He takes water a lot more consistently than I do. Just another running style, I guess. Looking at my forearm a bit, you see that my legs are much lower. That's actually my natural running style. I have to put in a bit more work to get my legs up. But that's just showing that I was getting tired. I wasn't able to keep that pace. So something to work on for the future at least, That's around a 1:17 lap again. So a bit off the pace. Not too terrible though. But you see him start to step and I wasn't able to keep pace with that. Start seeing it a bit now. Just for the water, and I'm not able to keep pace from there. I think looking back on it, if in this situation I would tried more to get up to his pace, but that's really not how I run normally. So that's more stress on my legs, more stress on my breathing. I'm not sure I'll be able to finish any better than I did here. So you see, I was pace started dropping now because I'm off of the pace and I'm off of him. So I'm dropping back onto what I naturally do, which is a lot slower. Yeah, I think that was a 1:12 lap, so he stepped up a bit and I wasn't able to keep pace with that. So this lap, it's 2 laps to go. He stepped away and I was able to catch him back. And this time I was just thinking of just trying to finish at 800 meters as best as I could. I wasn't able to sprint as well as I had hoped. But as you can see, my legs are pretty much flat at this point. Yeah, you see the guy from set, he would take like 50 meters to speed up, but went too much slow after that. I'd actually get close to him at the very end, but he finished before it. So, Graham, as you can see with his shine, he just, every now and then he speeds up quite a bit. He's able to do that for the last 100. At this point, I was just trying to open my hands the best I could. It wasn't the best, but it's just how it is. Something I need to work on, something that has been a weakness for me in terms of just changing the pace. So he finished 16th flat basically. I wasn't able to keep pace, meaning that midsection, and I started dropping off once he moved away from me, so that's where I felt it the most. I finished there around 16:20, so you see I'm leaning over. I wasn't actually that tired, I was looking more at the time to see, but
Not all that bad overall, thinking about the race.
Left. There we go. Two completing the event thus far.
Yeah. So that ends it for that race. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied what I did with that race, you know. It's not every that it works out exactly how I hoped. I would have hoped I could have won, but second place in 1620, even if it's not my personal best, I think that's pretty decent with what I've been working with in training, you know, not being any 5,000 at all, actually knowing how to keep that pace up. But something I need to work hard in the future for sure, and just keeping that pace at a much higher level for much longer, you know. I'm thinking about how I can remedy that, something I'll have an answer with for next year and then the year after, just to try something at least. But yeah, that's my little review of the race I ran in national championships. So now I'm just waiting a bit to go into the Suriname 10K.
So yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty decently happy with how it came out. The main points of improvement are just the strength to be able to hang with changes in pace, and then just to work on maintaining a higher speed over those last 1,500, 1,000 meters of the race. Happy with how I managed pace in the first part of the race, so in the first 3,500 to 4,000. I think I'm pretty happy with how I maintained a pace and how I managed myself. It didn't blast out too hard. I was able to step when I needed to. So overall, pleasingly happy in terms of the training and all that. There's some work to do next season, and I'll consider how I can make that better. But that's at least the conclusion to my season based on the work I've done so far. So I'm disappointed I couldn't get to that 15-minute range, but can't be too hard on myself. I've just look forward to the next thing. And as it turns out, that next thing is that 10K. So for that 10K, I'll be in about a week or so from then. So I had basically a week to try and get as much preparation as I reasonably could do. In that time, I was able to get 2 10Ks done and a 5K. One at Palisades, one at my grandmother's house, and the 5K at home. In terms of the pace that I think I'm on, for Palisades, I was fairly comfortably able to do around a 38-minute run. So I'm thinking that from where I'm at, from our experience in the 10,000, I think can pretty comfortably get into that 36 something range if I'm pushing myself. If I'm able to get into who's on a higher pace, then I probably go a little faster, but that depends on the race conditions itself. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm thinking that's aiming for 36 a bit, and anything on at that time, I'm pleased with what I will get. I'm feeling my grind a bit slightly in those 3 runs, but it's the end of the season. Not much I can do about it now apart from just ice and rest. Hopefully the off season will just give it enough time to heal properly and get back into work next season. So dealing with J3A to get that logistics for the flight and 10K ready. I have very little details on anything that you'll find out, but I was able to get all the gears and thing that ended up being the day before that had the gears ready and per diem. So picked that up. I had to wait a bit for them to finalize all those things because they're apparently missing some things and have extra of some things. But it's what is what it is with J3. And it turns out they actually gave me far too much, in my opinion. So I have like double of some things and all of that. But they actually gave me new shoes as well, the new Puma shoes. And I was planning to actually run the 10K in them, but after receiving being told that they wouldn't try it from my father and then from Design Harris, is actually the female representative from Jamaica doing the 10K. I hired against it. I'll just run in the ASICs that I brought. I don't think it'll make too much of a difference in the time. It was just something I hoped to do, but so it is with so many people saying against it, and might as well, you know what. So I just packed as best as I could, tried to get an extra of everything if needed for one day extra. I had, of course, I'm very concerned about all of it, but think it's decently packed. Just meaning just keeping track of my passport and all of those papers as well. So for the flight itself, it will be in the morning to Miami, and then wait a bit around, and then from Miami to Paramaribo, and it's going to be in the early morning I'll get there. So airport, got to the airport, got through customs. After a bit of trouble, the machine wasn't working and customer service person there wasn't having any help. So Jazana, mother, had dealt with her while waiting in the customer service line. It all worked out in the end. Got through. Flight was about 2 hours to Miami. So I was thinking that, hey, I get around 5 hours rest in between. But it turns out the Miami customs are terrible, as I'm sure many of you will know if you've been there. So what would have been a 5-hour break in between turned into about an hour and a half break. So in that time I just got myself some chicken tenders and some fries, basically just to hold me, and that's been holding me for most of the day, apart from the pretzels they have on the plane. And then from Miami to Paramaribo, it's 5 hours. I was actually seated towards the very back. It was a bit less comfortable. The space under the seats was less than with the Miami flight, but it wasn't all that bad, all things considered. I was able to sleep as well, since it was going into the night and into early morning, so I got some sleep on flight as well. So actually, once we arrived in Paramaribo, I actually got to skip a lot of the customs. So we got there, and there's like a representative assigned for Jamaica, so we're working as for us, and able to skip most of that process. The line seemed short even though, but still we skipped a lot of it, and we got over. It's actually a 2-hour drive from the airport over to the hotel. By that time it was around 2 a.m. in the morning that we got there, so I just basically gave us a room key and went to bed. So waking up in the morning, just how I'm going to prep for this 10K that's happening tomorrow in the evening. As it turns out, today, July 1, is actually Suriname's Emancipation Day, so everything around us is locked up. So I'm not sure we're going anywhere today, at least in preparation. Everything is probably going to be tomorrow, but we'll see how that works out. I'm completely in the hands of the Suriname government, because we have no details on when they want us to do anything. So if they don't take us at risk, I'm pretty sure we have nothing going on. But that will happen how it happens. Everything is in their hands from here. But because everything's closed, we have to rely on the hotel food. They provide breakfast for us for free, but lunch and dinner is going to be priced. So I'm trying to just ration myself in terms of the water and the snacks I have, just to keep that, not wasting money getting food and all that, because when you're having to do, you can get to eating more, and that's waste money. So just trying to ration that out, and then hopefully tomorrow they claim that they're going to take us along the route before the race. I would think that'd be the day before, but it turns out maybe not. Maybe it'll be in this evening, who knows. But whenever that happens, and then go on to the race. Actually, it turns out they're going to be live streaming the race on YouTube. However, as you would probably guess, since it's a 10K along the roads, it's not going to be as well required as the 5,000 I got. So I'm not sure if you even see me in that. I'll look at it at the end and see if I get any time. But then just try to do the best I can with that race. Then from there, next time you see me, we'll be wrapping it up here, and then one last time for this season, just wrapping up the entire thing, just me doing a personal retrospective of this first season of Furious to Go Pro plan, and what's going to happen on next. So while that's happening, I'm pretty proud of being able to go overseas to compete. Still have a lot of work to do, pretty obviously. I'm not sure how I think I was going to stack up here, especially when I'm assuming that other Caribbean countries are bringing people that are a bit more professional in the 10K. Who knows though, so I guess we'll find out. So this is 10 years Go vlog. When next I see you, I'll have results for this 10K, then we can start wrapping up our season.